Welcome to Sweet Bay Lane, my crafty friends. I'm Tracy. In this video, we're going to be doing some Christmas crafting in July. We're going to be taking inexpensive Dollar Tree supplies and turning them into high-quality Christmas decorations like these. So, let's go ahead and get started. The supplies for this DIY consist of 2 of the plastic punch bowls from Dollar Tree, any size you prefer. I got the largest ones in their plus section. You'll also need a doggy bowl, a metal dog bowl from their pet section. You'll need some paint of your choice. You'll need some E6000 glue. And you're also going to need some rub and buff of your choice. And I think I'm going to use the antique gold rub and buff. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first is we are going to take our 2 bowls and we are going to glue them together like this using some E6000 glue. And then once I have the glue on, I'm just going to put the other bowl on top of our bottom bowl, making sure that the sides are lined up with the grooves. Then I'm going to wipe off the excess glue. Okay, and while this is drying, we are going to go out and we're going to take our metal bowl and we are going to spray paint it with the brown satin espresso in Rust-Oleum. So let's go ahead and do that now, and then we'll continue on with our craft. Okay, so while our bowls are drying and we've sprayed our metal bowl, now what we're going to do is we are going to take and we're going to drill 2 holes in the bottom of our bowl. All right, so we have our holes drilled in there. And honestly, it was much easier just to take, it would be much easier just to take a big nail and just hammer it in with your hammer. Much easier. The drill bit was, I don't know, that it just was, unless you can find a bowl that's thinner metal, maybe that would work, like a tuna can or something. I've seen people do that, but these bowls are actually made quite nice. So it was a little difficult, more so than I thought it was going to be. So I found more success just taking the screw and hammering it in there. But I think if you had a big nail or maybe something that was very sharp that you could just hammer in there and poke the holes, I think that would be a lot easier. Or you don't even have to poke the holes, quite honestly, but I want to put something through my holes, so that's why I'm poking mine out. But if you're not going to do that and you just want to glue everything right on top, then, you know, you're fine. Now we have our bowls. They've dried. And for this next step, we are going to take this out and we are going to spray paint it with this beautiful satin seaweed spray paint by Rust-Oleum. But first, I need to tape off the top, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to glue it to the top of our 2 large bowls. But to get a really good adhesion, we need to leave this open for this bare plastic and this metal to adhere to. So no paint can get on this. But I can do it one of 2 ways. I can stick this on there, let it dry, and then tape it off. Or I can tape this off, spray it, and then put this on. So I'm kind of at a conundrum. I think the best option might be to glue this down to the bowls, then go ahead and tape this off and spray paint it. I think that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to move this forward. We're going to take our E6000 and we're going to put it around the edge of our bowl. Okay, so we have our E6000 on there. Now we're going to just take our bowl and put it upside down onto our 2 plastic bowls and smash it down. And then we're going to let that dry. Then, like I said, we'll tape this off, bring it outside, and we're going to spray paint it with our green. Now we have what looks like this once everything has dried. So like I said earlier, we are going to tape off this bowl. We're going to go outside and we're going to paint this base, this beautiful seaweed satin green. So let's go ahead and get this taped off and get this sprayed. Now we have it spray painted and it's dried. We're going to remove our painter's tape from our top. All right, so now this is what we have. I got a little bit of green paint on my brown, but that's okay, because for our next step, we are going to take some, I think I'm going to do the antique rub and buff. So let's go ahead and see how that goes, because I need, actually, do I want to do the antique or do I want to do the straight rub and buff gold? Let's see. Do I want to use this or the antique rub and buff? I'm not sure. Let's give this a whirl first and see where we're at. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do it with a brush first. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but let's see. Yeah, oh, I love it. Looks perfect. All right, so we're going to continue on with our brush, adding our gold rub and buff. Then we have the gold rub and buff all around the green part of the ornament. So now what I'm going to do is come in and do the antique gold up here on the metal bowl. But for that, I'm going to use a piece of this rag. Okay, so now we have it rub and buffed, and I think it looks so pretty, but in my haste to get this project going, I drilled the holes in the top here of the bowl, but I forgot to string my cording through the holes before I glued it down. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, so we're gonna improvise, which is fine because honestly the holes were kind of like a pain anyway. So we're just going to take some velvet ribbon and I'm just going to glue it to the top of my little cap there. So let's do that. Now, if you want them to hang, if you were going to hang these from something, say your front porch or something like that, which I actually think I'm going to do with some other ones, but I'm going to remember to put the string through the hole. But for this one, I was just going to make it to sit beside my tree to kind of fill in till I get my presents wrapped, or even after when the presents are opened. I like to fill my tree with different things. So now we have that glued on. Let me adjust my camera and see if I can get you to see the shot better. Hold on one moment. Okay, is that better? I think it is. All right, so now we have this glued on and it's actually pretty tight. So, I mean, I wouldn't go swinging it around or anything, but it's good and secure. All right, and then I also, using this same velvet ribbon from Hobby Lobby, I made a cute little kind of limp bow, and I think these are so pretty. They really add a quality touch to the decor, whatever you're putting them on. And I'm just going to glue mine right down here. But first, I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit of this greenery in there and just glue it onto the top like that. So let's get that done. And I'm just going to pull my wreath apart and use the greenery. That's another great way. If you can't find the greenery that you like in the smaller branches, you can just take a candle ring or a small wreath and dismantle it. So now we have our greenery on, so now we're going to take our bow and glue it on as well. Alright, so here's what we have so far. How cute is that? But I think it needs something right there. And I found these bells in my Christmas crafting supplies. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of these bells to the center right here. And I'm not sure, I mean, I was thinking of actually distressing it a little bit with the rub and buff, but I think it looks really kind of pretty. But let me go ahead and try that and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so we have it a little bit more distressed with the rub and buff, and I'm just going to glue it right there by the bow. And then we're left with this cute ornament. Don't you love it? I love this oversized ornament. It's so cute. I love the edging. And you'll see that I took the rub and buff and I rubbed the edge much darker to kind of delineate between the green and the outer edge of the ornament. I think that makes it look a lot prettier and a lot more like an ornament. What do you guys think? Have you made one? Will you make one? I hope so. You can also make them in smaller sizes as well. Hey, my crafty friends, if you like what you see so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. That way you won't miss any upcoming videos, and we'd love to have you here at Sweet Bay Lane. Well, now we're going to continue on to our next DIY. For this DIY, you're going to need a cone shape of some sort. I'm going to be using this foam cone. You'll also need some wood pieces, bearing wood pieces, or if you have a spindle, that would work perfectly. But I'm going to be using 2 of these wood candle cups from Hobby Lobby. I'm also going to be using some of these wood rings from the Dollar Tree and one of their wood blocks. So let's go ahead and get started assembling our project. And we're going to start by gluing our various wood pieces together, because what we want to accomplish is one solid piece of wood. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to be using some of this Tight Bond wood glue. And I'm going to actually try and paint mine on so I have a little more control of where it goes. And then we're going to take and stack this smaller one on top of our larger one. And we're going to build from there, just making sure that they are level. Then we're going to take our 2 candle cups and we're going to glue those together like this. Perfect. Then we're going to take our candle cup and we're going to glue it to our stack of rings. And then once we have the glue on, we're just going to attach the candle cup to our ring stack, making sure that it's level. And that looks really, really good. All right, so now we have that done. And we're just going to let that dry. And trust me, it won't take long with this glue. Wow, they weren't kidding. Fast set time. Are you serious? Like, that is set up. All right, so we're going to set this aside and let it dry. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and glue it onto our wood block as well. Might as well. Let's turn this upside down. Look at how it's already glued together. That's insane. That is totally insane. All right, so now we're going to put a little glue on the bottom of our ring. And we're going to glue it to our wood cube. All right, we're going to take and wipe this off a little bit, and then we're going to stick it down right in the middle of our wood cube. Make sure you get it where you want it, because that glue is sticking fast. Sticking fast. All right, so now we're going to set this aside and let it finish drying, which won't be long. All right, so now we're going to take and process our cone. And for that, I think I'm going to remove this plastic, or should I just do it over the plastic? Yeah, we'll remove the plastic. And I'm going to be taking some of this giant green yarn. I love it so much. And I'm going to take and glue the yarn around my tree in a spiral to the top. So let's get that going. First I have to find the end. Oh, here we go. We've got our end, and we're going to just set this over here like this. And I'm wondering if I should do it in pieces. I don't think so. We'll just start gluing. We'll just start gluing, and we'll just hope for the best. Also, I think I'm going to start down here. And now, you know what? I'm going to start right here. So let's go ahead and start. We've got our glue gun here. We're going to move it over. Now, I don't know if hot glue is the best way to do this, but we're going to try it and see what happens. Because I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take and just run a little bit of glue up this side and then start wrapping so I'm not dealing with a bunch of yucky glue. So let's see if we can, let's see. Actually, let's turn it down on low so it doesn't melt our foam. Now I'm going to do, oh, this foam is pretty good. Yeah, it's holding up to the glue pretty well. All right, so we're going to take, ooh, that's smelly though. All right, we're going to take our, whoa! We're going to take our yarn and start wrapping it around our cone. Now you might have to add the glue at the bottom here because it needs a little bit of a foundation to start wrapping on, so that's what I think I'm going to do. You just bring it right up to the edge, pat it down. Okay, now that we have our bottom base done, now we can just start wrapping, and that's where this glue comes in. This little stripe up here comes in handy because we don't need to do glue all the way around. That's just going to become a real mess for us. So we're just going to do the little glue up the side here and then start wrapping. Glue, wrap, glue, wrap, and then we have a little bit of glue, but we're going to go up a little further with our glue. So then we're going to wrap, glue, wrap, glue. Look at how cute it's looking already. I love it. All right, so now we're going to add more glue. All right, we're getting to the top. Now, I'm showing this process because I've had some comments that people want to see me craft more. I guess like more of the details of the craft. I'm not really sure, but anyways, if you're one of those people, then this video is for you. Do you guys like to see all of the crafting process, or do you kind of like things to be sped up that you know aren't really needing to be watched, or do you like watching the whole process unfold? Let me know down in the comments. All right, so now we're getting to the top of our tree, and we're going to finish that off with some glue. And I think what I'm going to do is just wrap it on top here, but we'll see. I kind of want it to be pointier, but I'm going to see what I could do with this. We're going to try and wrap. Maybe we can wrap the yarn upon itself and make it pointy. We might be able to do that. I don't know. Let's see. I think I need, yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we need to just twist it and poke it down. Because I'm going to put a star up there, so it's not like it really matters, I don't think. And we'll cut it. Set this over here. Well, actually, we're going to keep this in because we're going to need it here in a minute. So we'll just poke that down. I mean, it's not pointy, but I'm going to put a star up there anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's pointy. Okay, and then I also, oh, look at how cute that is already. All right, so now I'm also going to finish the bottom of my tree. So I'm going to do that now. And we're just going to take and start, and we're just going to twirl but we want this to be open. So we're just going to twirl it until we get to here, the center. Or do I even want to do it? Maybe it'll be fine. You know what I'll do is I'll just put some felt. I'll put a felt piece. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to set this aside then. And let's do a felt piece. All right, so now we have our felt. I'm just going to put it down here. Oh, there's a tag on it. And we're going to, my table's running away from me. We're going to put our round on there. Now, should I glue it then cut it, or should I cut it? Yeah, let's go ahead and... You know what? Let's go ahead and glue it, and then I'll cut it. I think that might work out better. Maybe. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to take and put a little bit of glue around. Alright, then we're just going to put it on top of our felt and press it down. That way it's nice and secure on the bottom of our tree. And then once our glue dries, our hot glue, then we're then going to trim it up. So, okay, so now it's dried. We're just going to trim around where our felt is. Okay, perfect. Now we have our perfectly covered cone. We'll set this aside. And then, now we have our little cone. We're going to set it aside. We're going to bring back in our wood piece, and it's completely dried solid, which is crazy. So now what we're going to do is we are going to paint this. Now, should I paint it or stain it? Because I love stain. I love it. I love it. I'm sorry, but I love it. But I think what we're going to do is we are going to paint this. Okay. So now we're just going to take and we're going to paint it brown. Now I would have stained it, but I think maybe that glue would have made the stain look different. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is going to be perfect, and it's going to look like stain when we're done. So. All right, so now we have this base painted, but I've changed my mind again as I was painting the base, and I think what I'm going to use is Rub and Buff. That is going to be so pretty. Also, I want to add a star to our little yarn tree, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little pack of stars that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I think I'm going to paint those gold. But I also Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, because I was going to say I have other stars, but I think I'm going to use these. Now, which size would you use? Would you use the small size? That looks a little underwhelming. So I think we're going to use this size star. Perfect. Okay. And we're going to paint it brown as well. So let's go ahead and get that done now. All right. So now we have both of our pieces painted. And now I'm going to take some of the, of course, I love the antique gold rub and buff. It is my favorite. And we're going to antique both of these pieces. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to do our little piece here. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces done, and look at that. Don't you love that rub and buff on that? It looks so good. It looks like it was like this the whole time. I love this. It's also a great way to make spindles if you don't have any on hand. So now we're going to take our tree and we're going to glue it onto the top of our little stand here. So let's hope this goes well. It should, but I'm wondering about the felt being on the bottom, but it might be pretty strong, and I think the glue will go through the felt, so we'll see about that. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to find the center of my tree, and then we're going to take and just stick it into the glue, and I'm going to hold mine till it sets there a little bit, making sure it's centered. It looks like it's centered. Yep. Okay, so now we're going to tip it back up and make sure it's straight. Yep, looks straight to me. All right, so we're going to let this set up. And while that's setting up, we're going to glue our star onto the top. And that's very easy. We're just going to put some glue on the edge here and then stick it to the top of our piece like that. So let's let this dry a little bit and see where we're at. I want to make sure that's going to be secure enough. So let's go ahead and let that dry. Okay, it's glued and it's nice and strong, so that is perfect. And now we're going to take and glue our star on. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue here, here, and then just rest it on top of my tree. I was going to put a little stake on the back, but then that kind of makes it unsightly from one of the sides. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's do that. Let's see what this looks like. Hopefully it doesn't look like a mess, but we'll see. We'll see. I think this looks so cute. What do you guys think? Do you love it? I love it. Now, you know what I think I'm going to do too? Is I'm going to put a little velvet bow down here at the bottom and let the tails just kind of stream down. I really think that is going to elevate it. So let's get that done. And I'm wondering, should I use red or should I just use a pretty black velvet? I don't know. Let me go see what I have in my stash and then we'll continue on. Okay, so I think, yeah, I'm going to add some black velvet ribbon. And I got this ribbon. Actually, I got this at Dollar Tree. It's just a thin black black velvet ribbon with a satin edge, it says, whatever that means. I guess it just means that smooth edge instead of the kind of ruffledy edge. You see what I'm saying there? Yeah, see that? Okay, so now I think I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my little bow right here, and I think that is going to look so cute. So let's go ahead and get that glued on. Oh my goodness, it looks so pretty. It looks so pretty. I love it. I'm going to leave mine very long. I don't know, should I leave them long, dangly? Yeah, I think I'll cut them. Oh, they look so cute. Okay, and look at it. Look at it. It's so pretty. Oh my goodness, do you guys not love it? I love this so much. It's so pretty.